Hey there, what's going on, everybody? My name is Derek, author and webmaster of Gematrinator.com. Hope you're all doing pretty well today. We're going to talk about this news story from coming out of Greenwich, Connecticut today. It said that a missing woman was identified as the body found in a suitcase. This woman was from New Rochelle, New York, found dead in Greenwich, Connecticut. Now, what we're going to be discussing in this video is whether or not this is a real news story. The mainstream media likes to throw around the term fake news. However, very few people realize just how fake the mainstream media truly is. Most of the news stories seem to be constructed by a numerical code, one based in the ancient occulted language of Gematria, which is the very simple practice of coding numbers into words. The ciphers you see on the screen are what we call the base 4. We start with the alphabetic order in the top left, where each letter is numbered 1 through 26 relative to its position in the alphabet. We also have the reduction method, also called Pythagorean gematria, where each double-digit number is reduced to a single digit, using the rules of numerology. Both methods can then be reversed, where Z is 1, Y is 2, X is 3, through A is 26. These methods, called the reverse ordinal reverse reduction ciphers, are complementary to the alphabetic order. There's also a couple of large number ciphers that are primary to this study. English Extended, which is based more closely on the ancient Hebrew gematria, Greek isopsephy charts. And then its sister Jewish gematria, which is based on the original Latin alphabetic order, newer English characters placed at the end of this cipher. I'm going to turn my volume up here, guys, a little bit. All right. So when you look at this study of numerology, letters, numbers, and then compare it with dates on the calendar, we find some very, very significant alignments consistently occur. So this story here, a body found in a suitcase in Connecticut, appears to be related to Connecticut's new governor, Ned Lamont. Ned Lamont just took office on January 9th of this year, 1919. We'll talk about why this is significant. Last month, I did a video on the disappearance of Jamie Kloss. Actually, can't say for sure if I did a video, but I definitely did this post. And this story was related to the governor of Wisconsin, who recently took office. And of course, this story took place in Wisconsin. So we'll glance again at this story at the end of the video just to talk about the consistency here in which this occurs. So in our Jewish gematria cipher, which I consider to be the most significant outside of the base 4, the phrase numeric ritual sums to 777. And this is a very significant number to Freemasonry, who uses gematria. One of their phrases is order out of chaos. In the same cipher, order out of chaos also sums to 777. In fact, the word chaos on its own equals 19. Here we are in 2019. And think about how the president, Donald Trump, is causing all sorts of chaos and division amongst the people. When Donald Trump took office, he was 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days old. And let's just show you the date right here. Inaugurated in 2017, 70 years, 7 months, 7 days old. So this is a ritualistic number that we commonly see coded into fake news. Ned Lamont was born on January 3rd, 1954, which means on today's date, he's exactly 23,777 days old. And today is the date on which we get this news story about a missing woman whose body was found in a suitcase. February 7th. Now, if we measure from the date he took office, January 9th of this year, to the date of this news story, we find today is 29 days later without the end date included. In Jewish gematria, the name Ned Lamont equals 290. In numerology, zeros can be dropped from the result, so this represents a 29. He's been in office for 29 days. The date on which this woman disappeared was January 29th, which is the 29th day of the year. So we're focusing on this Jewish Gematria cipher, which appears to be extremely significant to this whole story. Ned Lamont's full name is Edward Minor Lamont. This sums to 1399 in the Jewish Gematria cipher. Now, interestingly enough, the victim in this story is named Valerie Reyes. And check this out. Her name equals 1400, which is only one off. But the number 14 is significant because the name Ned sums to 14 in reduction. But looking back at the name Valerie Reyes and 14, again, with the zeros dropped, this gives us a 1-4, 14. We'll look at the gematria of body in a suitcase in the same cipher. Body in a suitcase equals 1004. How strange is it that Valerie Reyes is the name of the woman found in the suitcase? In English extended gematria, Ned Lamont equals 440. Now this represents the number 44, which sums to 144. The name Valerie Reyes summing to 144 in ordinal and in English extended. Now let's look at Ned Lamont's full name in this English gematria cipher. Down here we see the number 1279. 1279 is a prime number. The 207th prime number? Think about today's date, February 7th, written 2/7. The governor's full name summing to the 207th prime. But that's not all. First of all, February 7th in Gematria also has this value of 72, like 7/2, the way it's written in most parts of the world. The name Edward Minor Lamont in the reverse order, summing to 270. I guess it's also worth pointing out Edward Minor Lamont equals 189, just like February 7th, the date on which he's getting a numerical tribute in the news. When Edward Lamont, or Ned Lamont, when he took office, look how old he was. Let's see. Oh, we want to look at the state of Connecticut, my bad. Connecticut, admission to Union. Connecticut was admitted to the Union on January 9th, 1788. When Ned Lamont assumed office, the state of Connecticut was exactly 2,772 months old. 2772. A lot like today's date, February 7th, written 27 or 72. Let's look at the name of the woman involved in this story. The name Valerie equals 72 using the alphabetic order. The name Reyes equals 72 and 27. Like 2772, the number of months Connecticut was old when Ned Lamont took office. Finally, the name Valerie Reyes equals 72 in reverse reduction. Now, if we instead measure the number of years, we find that Connecticut was exactly 231 years old on the date Ned Lamont took office. When you glance through the news story, you find out that Valerie Reyes was from New Rochelle, New York. Also in the alphabetic order, New Rochelle, New York, summing to 231. Connecticut, 231 years old when Ned Lamont took office. 231 is a triangular number, meaning if you add up every number, 1 through 21, it sums to 231. Today's date numerology is 2 plus 7 plus 1 plus 9. There's a 19 there. Also think about how 19 plus 19 equals 38. Today is the 38th day of the year. We'll talk about two 19s in a second. But in regards to 231 being the 21st triangular, look at today's date numerology. It has a life lesson number of 21. And the governor's last name, Lamont, equals 21. And he's in the news on the 7th of February, which equals 210. In reduction, Ned Lamont equals 35. And when you look at the story, there's a couple paragraphs here where numbers stick out like a sore thumb. First of all, they say that the body was found 15 to 20 feet off of Glenville Road. Well, of course, 15 plus 20 is 35. Additionally, Greenwich is said to be 35 miles from New York City. Ned Lamont, 35. In regards to the population of Greenwich, which is said to be 63,000, look at the name of the woman who died there. Valerie Reyes equals 63. Same method. Also notice how they said the body was found on Glenville Road. Glenville equals 98, 145, and 46. Governor Ned Lamont, 98, 145, and 46. Something I've also shown to be significant over the past few months is how the ordinal gematria can be converted to a date, and then if you measure to that date on which the city's in the news, you find significant alignments, and this is definitely the case here with Greenwich, Connecticut. Notice how in the alphabetic order, Greenwich, Connecticut equals 219. Remember, Ned Lamont sworn in on 1919, like 219s. Today is the 38th day of the year, which is 19 plus 19. Well, if you measure from today's date, February 7th, to 219, you get 12 days. And in reduction, Greenwich, Connecticut equals 102, like the number 12. So in regards to the number 19, Ned Lamont sworn in on 1919, the date can also be written 9/1. His full name, Edward Minor Lamont Jr., equals 91 in reduction. But as far as the number 19, like, it's no coincidence. Connecticut admitted to the Union on January 9th. Their governor sworn in on January 9th. This all has to do with the number 19. And when we're talking about 19, we need to understand the Metonic cycle. The Metonic cycle is a period of almost exactly 19 years that syncs up with 235 lunar phases. And the numerology of this cycle is so significant and coded into a significant portion of news stories, sports events, and the like. In Gematria, Metonic cycle equals 127, also 62 in reverse reduction. This is the same as the state of Connecticut. Connecticut equals 127 and 62, hence why the number 19 is so significant. And today we get a story about a body. Body equals 19. That body was in a suitcase, which equals 119 when we reverse the alphabetic order. Also, notice how body equals 46 and 62 reverse. Connecticut equals 46 and 62 in reverse. Another thing we commonly discuss on the channel is solar eclipses. Total solar eclipses are ultra significant to the dark occult and those of them who are giving us our fake news stories. So if you measure from the date of a big news story to an eclipse, you're always going to find alignments in the numbers. Today is 145 days exactly before the next total solar eclipse. Remember, Ned Lamont equals 145. The body was found on Glenville Road, 145. If we instead measure to the most recent total solar eclipse, which to this day is still the Great American Eclipse from August of 2017, we get 97 weeks, or to be exact, 22 months and 11 days. This story is about a suitcase, which equals 97 ordinal, containing a woman from New Rochelle, New York, which in extended gematria equals 2211. Could these be coincidence? Maybe. But considering how consistent this is from story to story, I doubt it. Lastly, the numbers of Freemasonry involved here. I don't want to get too much into this because we already know what's going on. But when this man was sworn into office, this is Ned Lamont, sworn in as the governor. Check out how old he was. 780 months and 7 days old. 787. 787 is the Jewish gematria of Freemasonry. And there are numerous overlaps between the town of New Rochelle and New Rochelle, New York, with the Scottish Rite. Now, just to recap my post from last month, January 11th, 2019, where a woman, actually a 13-year-old girl, was found alive after an Amber Alert issued on October 15th of the prior year in 2018. And this story had everything to do with Tony Evers, who was just elected governor of Wisconsin and took office shortly before Claus was found alive. The date on which Jamie Claus disappeared was October 15th. That date is written 10/15, containing the numbers 115. Her parents were killed on that date. The word killing equals 115 in reverse ordinal and Jewish gematria, 115. On that date, the governor of Wisconsin at the time was Scott Walker, and he was 51 years and 10 weeks old, 511, which is the inverse of 115. The new governor, Tony Evers, was born on the date 11/5, or November 5th, 115. Even the names of the people killed on that date, James and Denise Claus, their names in reverse reduction equals 115. Then we found out the name of the killer. His last name was Patterson. Patterson equals 115. And if you think these alignments are crazy, wait till you check this out. Now we're going to talk about the number 46, which is kind of interesting because the governor, Ned Lamont of Connecticut, his name equals 46. So does the name Tony Evers of Wisconsin. 46, a number of sacrifice, which equals 46 in reduction. Tony Evers is the 46th governor of Wisconsin. However, the governor at the time when Claus's parents were killed was still Scott Walker. He had been in office for exactly 406 weeks at the time of the murders. On that same date, Jamie Claus was kidnapped, which equals 46. Her hometown was Barron, Wisconsin, which equals 46 when abbreviated. The mayor of that town is Ron Fladten, whose name equals 46. Jamie Claus's mother was 46 years old when she was killed, and her name, Denise Claus, equals 406, just like the number of weeks Scott Walker had been in office when she died. Later that month, on October 30th, we got a story about a man who broke into the home where the parents were killed and stole some of the girls' underwear. That guy's last name was Janke, which equals 46. Underwear equals 46. How messed up is this? So there's a whole lot more to this. I just wanted to show you that this story about the woman in Connecticut, you know, these kind of things, this is what they're doing with the news stories. They're paying tribute to their agents who are sitting in office, allowing things to happen that they want. And anytime you're looking at a news story, always measure to the date that the governor took office, measure to the date that that state was admitted to the Union. And unequivocally, you're always going to get interesting alignments because this is what they're using to code these rituals. You combine these measurements with Gematria, date numerology, and it's very, very easy to see what's going on. Thanks to everybody who jumped in on the chat. For some reason, it says there's only 3 people watching right now. I'd like to think I've been online this entire time. There was definitely 3 people in here before I even started talking. So it's funny that YouTube tells me there's only 3 watching. Hilarious. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. All right, everybody. With that, going to sign off. Thanks to everybody for watching. God bless. Again, please like, share, subscribe, as this content has been censored. I'm on my 2nd channel. Hopefully this is my last channel. But you never know when YouTube is going to take off all conspiracy-related content, period. All right. Thanks again. Peace, love, God bless. See ya.